Hello and welcome. Today we are going into a deeper topic in Jungian psychology, teleology, not theology. Teleology, from the Greek word telos, which means goal or purpose. We are going to ask a simple but powerful question. What if your mind is not only reacting to the past? What if it is also quietly moving you toward a future direction? In this talk, I will do three things. First, explain what teleology means for Jung. Second, show how this teleological movement appears in dreams, symptoms, and the process of individuation. Third, give you practical ways to listen to the future pull of your own psyche in everyday life. Let us begin. Part 1. What Jung means by teleology. In everyday psychology, we usually think in terms of causes. You act like this today because something happened to you in the past. A childhood event, a trauma, a learned pattern. This is a causal way of thinking. Past pushes present. Carl Jung agreed that causes matter, but he also said this is not enough for human beings. He argued that human behavior is shaped by both causal forces from the past and teleological forces that point toward a future goal. Teaching material on Jung's theory of personality often summarizes it exactly like this. Human behavior is influenced by causality and by teleology, not one or the other, both at the same time. In essays like On Psychic Energy from the 1920s and On the Nature of the Psyche from the 1940s, Jung described the psyche as a self-regulating system. When something in your life is unbalanced, the unconscious does not simply show what caused the problem. It also responds with images, feelings, and impulses that point toward a possible solution. This is teleology. The psyche is not only explaining where you came from, it is also hinting at who you could become. Recent scholarly work, such as the volume Psychological and Philosophical Studies of Jung's Teleology, published around 2023, calls this the future orientation of psychic reality. So for Jung, your inner life has a kind of built-in direction, not a fixed script, but a tendency toward meaning and wholeness. Part 2. How teleology shows up in the psyche. Let us make this concrete. How does this so-called future orientation appear in real life first? Dreams as directional messages. Jung saw dreams as more than random noise or replay of daytime events. He believed they are often compensatory. They correct one-sided conscious attitudes. For example, if you are over-rational in waking life, your dreams may flood you with images of water, chaos, or uncontrolled emotion. The point is not simply to punish you. It is to show you the part of yourself that needs to be lived in the future. That is teleological. The dream is not only about what happened yesterday. It suggests the direction you need to grow tomorrow. Second, symptoms as calls to change. From a Jungian perspective, some psychological symptoms can be read in a teleological way. A depression that appears after years of blind career ambition might be understood as the psyche forcing a stop so that a deeper life question can emerge again. The symptom has a history, but it can also be read as a message, a push toward a more authentic path. A 2017 paper called Teleology and the Objective Unconscious describes how Jung treated unconscious material as purposive. The unconscious is not just a container of repressed content. It is an active factor that orients the person toward potential future forms of life. Third, individuation as a lifelong teleological process. In Jungian language, individuation is the process of becoming the person you are meant to be, not a perfect person, a more whole person. The Society of Analytical Psychology describes individuation as the discovery and experience of meaning and purpose in life. It is the way the psyche seeks its own development. Here, you can hear the teleological flavor clearly. There is an inner movement toward a more integrated self. The unconscious presents images and experiences that push you toward that future possibility. You are not only a product of your past, you are also a project of your psyche. Part 3. Teleology and Synchronicity. Now we touch a more mysterious place in Jung's work, synchronicity. In 1952, Jung published Synchronicity and a causal connecting principle. He defined synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence between an inner state, like a dream or a strong feeling, and an outer event that happens at the same time. Importantly, with no clear causal link between them. For example, you have an intense dream about a scarab beetle. The next day, during a therapy session, a beetle that looks like a scarab taps at the window. Jung's classic case. Some philosophers have noted that synchronicity behaves a little like final causality. The coincidence seems to support a movement toward individuation, a movement toward a new understanding of yourself, more than it can be explained by simple mechanical cause and effect. In that sense, synchronicity fits with the teleological attitude in Jungian psychology. Life sometimes arranges events in a way that seems strangely aimed at your growth, even if you never prove a physical chain of cause and effect. Jung did not say this replaces physics. He said it adds another layer, a layer of meaning and purpose. Part 4. Why Jung's teleology matters for therapy and for your life. You might ask, nice theory, but what do I do with it first? It changes how you listen to your own inner life. Instead of asking only, why am I like this? What happened to me in the past? You can also ask, what is this experience pushing me toward? What new attitude or form of life is trying to be born through this problem? The Jungian analyst looks at dreams, fantasies, slips, conflicts, not only as traces of the past, but as hints of a future direction that wants to emerge. Second, it shapes the therapeutic stance. Recent overviews of Jungian psychotherapy research, such as work by Christian Rosler in 2019 and 2021, show that Jungian therapy often aims at deep personality change over time, not only symptom reduction. This makes sense inside a teleological frame. If the psyche is moving toward individuation, then therapy is not only about taking away pain, it is about helping the person find the form of life their deeper self is trying to reach. Third, it affects how you relate to crisis. From a purely causal view, a crisis is just damage. From a teleological Jungian view, a crisis can also be an inner turning point. Something in you refuses to continue in the old pattern. Your unconscious is saying, we cannot live like this anymore. We must move toward another possibility. That does not mean you romanticize suffering. It means you ask a different question. What is this situation asking me to become? Part 5. Conclusion and gentle call to action. Let us gather the main idea. For Jung, you are not just a product of what happened to you. You are also shaped by what your psyche is trying to become. Teleology in Jungian psychology means that dreams, symptoms, conflicts, and even strange coincidences can sometimes be read as signals of a future orientation, a movement toward meaning, toward greater wholeness. So the next time a dream shocks you or a crisis breaks your routine, do not ask only, why is this happening to me? Also ask, What is this pushing me toward? What part of me is trying to come alive? If this exploration of Jung's teleology gave you a new angle on your own inner life, let me know. Write one thing you are currently struggling with, and one guess about what your psyche might be asking from you through that struggle. If you want more psychology content explained in simple language, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves Jung but wants to understand him in practical terms.